Good morning. I'm on a Saturday endurance ride. It's supposed to be easy. I'm gonna do it within a couple of hours, and I'm starting right before the sunrise. So the sunrise should be in about 10 minutes, and I should maybe see it from the promenade. On the last ride I managed to cut my tire. I think it's something like a glass. So I'm riding tubeless, so actually I noticed it by the sound, of course, and also by the spray on my leg that I felt. So the sealant was spraying outside the tire and trying to seal it, but yeah, not successfully. I tried to pump the tire, but it was not sealing. So I used like one of these rubber plugs to plug in the hole because it was just too big, and then it kind of sealed and let me ride another 15k to home. But yeah, then over a couple of hours it still deflated, and I had to undo the tire. That was actually okay because actually the sealant was almost all out. Like, because it took so long to seal it, almost all of the sealant was outside, and yeah, the tire was empty. So yeah, I had to undo it, and then I cleaned it and I patched the tire itself, like the hole from the inside, with one of these like rubber inner tube patches. So I did it before, and it works kind of nice. You basically glue it on top of the hole from the inside, and then when it dries you just assemble the tires tubeless again, and that holds normally. But I am thinking that I'll probably need to buy a new set of tires in a while, because there's a lot of small cuts all over the tires now. And that's after like 5,000 kilometers of riding, which I would say not a lot, but yeah. This year I wasn't doing any indoor cycling, so all of these 5k are just outdoors on different sorts of roads. And this is the pretty nice pre-sunrise sky. Something amazing about riding in Spain is that, like, I'm just wearing long sleeve jersey and long riding bibs, and it's just quite comfortable. I don't know what's the temperature now. I would say it's around maybe plus 12 to 13, 14. But yeah, it's quite comfortable. There is a local group that has like the group rides on Saturday, and I was thinking of joining them today, but actually my new training plan that I'm following from Purple Patch Fitness, it actually does not give me much room for flexibility in that sense. I mean, it actually does. It actually gives a lot of room for flexibility, and I'm able to do whatever I want. But now I really want to focus on the technique and on the off-season stuff. I'm really improving my swimming. So what happens is that I don't really have the capacity to do super long rides. It's Saturday and I'm kind of quite tired, which is something actually very new, and I think I first heard it from Purple Patch, is that as time-starved people who have family stuff to do, I mean, it's not that weekend is all available for like the 5-7 hour rides or like lots of training. So you actually still instead of doing work, you do family stuff. So it's not that you have all the free time on the weekend. And the way things work right now for me is that I don't really train that much more over weekend. I train a lot every single day, and it's not really matters a lot if it's weekend or work day. Like if it's a work day, I did manage to do like 2.5 hours of training. The hardest day I guess I had was I did like a bike ride in the morning, which was already also around like 7 a.m. or so. Around sunrise happened also somewhere during the ride. And then and then I did a run, like a short 30-minute run with hill strides, hill repeats. I didn't do it right after the bike, I did it like right before lunch. So I got on the bike, then I did some work, then right before having lunch I went for like a 30-minute run. Everything's very short, very focused on like a certain goal of a workout. And then in the evening I went for a swim. So it was the whole swim bike run, and the overall volume of the day was maybe 2.5 hours. But basically, if you do stuff in breaks and in very short and focused stints, it's not that bad. Like the bike was I think 1 hour that day. So like very specific intervals that I did within an hour, and then I was back home. Very specific hill repeats on the run, where it's a very well-known 10-minute warm-up to the hill from home, and then hill repeats, and then back home. And then the swim, just something that I do. I'm not 100% sure if I'm doing the best version of what I can, but basically I'm doing like the shorter versions of whatever Purple Patch plan offers me. I know that's like from my experience of learning, I progress better with bigger volume, but now I'm progressing pretty well. I'm swimming, I think, faster than I could ever swim. I'm really feeling strong on the swims, and I feel like I'm getting the gears. I can swim 4 intervals, and then one would be faster than the other, and it would be very gradual and very controlled. But I'm not doing like the big volume. I could do maybe like 20-30% more. And I feel like I just don't have the capacity to recover from everything. And I would say that mostly it's probably even like the mental capacity. I just don't really want to do more work because I think that I feel like I'm doing enough work and I am progressing. So I'm kind of keeping it where it is. And this is something that I want to share as the roads. Like, check this out. Like, this is how my town looks. This is Saturday. People are not going to work. It's 7:57 a.m. So, like, it's still, the sun is still not up. I'll probably leave this road before sunrise. And it is that empty. I don't have any cars following me. I can just ride comfortably and relax. I'm very lucky with the green lights today. That's the one part I'm struggling with usually, especially if you have a short, structured workout. Then I can really be sure that I can start it like 20 minutes from home or so that I actually leave the town, because if you have to stop like every 500 meters, it's not great. But today is looking good. Sometimes I even see cars not stopping on these traffic lights in the early morning, just because there's like a single car, not a single person. You can see everything around and you're like the only one stopping at the street. So I see sometimes cars just not, like they would stop and they would treat a red light as a stop sign. Getting out of the town now, all the way uphill, and then turning point and going down. The rest of the video, I think, would be just quiet riding. Not that I cannot or won't talk. I just want you to know that if you want to have something on the background, that would be a good video. Otherwise, feel free to skip, because now we're just going to be exploring the views of climbing to a town called Busot and then riding down from it. And the climb would be much nicer to see, because the downhill will be more straight. There's something new about the weather that I don't recognize from before, like in the riding. Usually it was always like either it's hot or warm or it's pretty cold, and here it's right now it's like this Spanish winter. We have kind of both at the same time. Whenever you encounter the sun, it is pretty warm, but the wind is pretty chilly all the time. So right now I feel like it's the coldest part of the ride since I got out of home, because I'm riding in the shadow and the wind is pretty chilly. So I'm not sure. I feel like I should be dressing up a little bit differently. I want to have probably more layers, but very thin ones. Maybe like a thin jersey with a like a vest. Instead of now I have just a warm long sleeve jersey. I mean, it's very nice, but it gets hot sometimes. I think I would rather have something that is colder but with a windproof vest, and that should help. And then in the mornings at home, it's pretty, I mean, it's not cold, but it's like, it's kind of cool. I don't know, maybe around 20 degrees or a bit less. Something that is, I mean, it's just unusually cold for us. We're very used to central heating. And so, yeah, it's hard to decide on the clothing for the outside, because when you go out and the sun goes out, it's probably going to be warmer than at home. I really wish to bring my family here. I mean, on the bikes up this climb. So I want to get another bike, which is a tricky thought. Like, it's been only around 8 or 9 months since I'm just with one bike. And now again I want to have a second one. So I'm thinking of getting some simple mountain bike that I can use for commuting, and also just very generic riding, but also thinking of getting something good enough that I could, I don't know, maybe I could even show up to an Xterra race with that. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I'm looking for something like a 500 euro very simplistic mountain bike. I got an offer at a store next to my pool, which is like a 700 euro. I mean, for me it sounds like a super bike, like a 12 gear Shimano Dior 1x aluminum frame, of course, but I mean, it's very simplistic. It's without any bullshit, like, but you kind of get it for like some of the exceptional times. I think on GCN they discussed that in some country they allowed cyclists to treat streets stop, like red lights, as stop signs. So like if you see a red light you have to stop, and then you can go immediately if everything's safe to do so. Just because I also think that having cyclists stand on the red lights with cars is probably not the safest idea, because then we have to take off altogether and ride and drive side by side for a while. So one or the other should actually be able to go and then overtake when there's more space. Stuff that you don't need, it's with a remote like locker of the fork. I mean, I have no idea about the forks. I know that coil spring forks are not great, but that's what you're getting for the money. So yeah, and I'm thinking of getting like some bike like that I could put like a child seat on it to get my daughter on my bike, and then if my son goes on his bike, and maybe I can get my wife to bike up the hill. I mean, she would just not want to do it, but maybe we could try. The good thing about entering cycling on mountain bike, I think, is that you have the gears. I mean, the bike is heavy, of course, but you have the gears. So what are we doing? I'm doing 230 watts. It's like zone 3, and it's a 5% grade. I mean, I would even go a bit lighter, but it's okay. I think I have a very strange sensations this off season, I guess, or this season. Bike doesn't really hurt. Like whenever I do intervals, of course they're hard. I feel how hard they are. Of course, some of them are painful, but the pain is not that bad. It's like a very controllable pain, and it feels like I can turn the knob all the way to 10. I mean, I will then fail, but I will not be suffering, and I don't have any mental pain from riding hard these days. If I do like zone 3, 10-minute intervals, like it was always like hard also mentally to just suffer through them, but now I just don't care. I push the pedals, I feel the pain in my legs, I feel that I need to breathe, but I'm like, okay, then we're pushing. And I'm finally getting out of the shadow. I think I'm getting closer to my favorite part of the climb, where it starts with a little bit of switchbacks. Or maybe not yet. Six percent up. Okay. I mean, it's great about the mountains and the hills. The more you ride them, the less impressed you get from these signs. Like, we keep climbing. Okay, this is the turn. We're gonna go left and we're gonna go up the hills a little bit. I know that's not the turn, but it's some turn of the road. Anyway, one thing that I'm curious about is that there's a couple of gravel races for next year that I'm looking at. I'm thinking of maybe not competing, not entering them, but just trying to ride a shorter route myself. So for example, there's one that has like a short route of 100 kilometers and the long one is like 360. That I'm not gonna do, of course, but 100k on gravel, even if things go very bad, I think I could do it in, I mean, worst case I could do it in maybe like 8 hours. That would be fine. Like, it can fit in a day. But just from the general riding, what I see is that I don't really see the gravel roads. I don't pass any turns where like you pass it and you see, okay, there's a gravel road after that. No, there's nothing. So I'm really curious to ride maybe some of the routes just to find some gravel roads. And like, where do you go like mountain biking? There's a lot of these mountains, but I cannot see any of the like tracks. Which probably you don't need to see, you just need to know the entry spot, and then it may not be visible from here because there's quite a few people on mountain bikes. I mean, there's the gravel road to the left, but it's a closed one. I personally wouldn't want to enter something with like a chain across the road. If you cannot even walk past it, around it, so it's clearly closed against everyone. And I see a cyclist in front, but I feel weak. I want to catch them, but I don't want to make an effort. Today is supposed to be an easy endurance ride, mostly zone 2. I mean, I'm not doing it now, I'm probably a bit above, but I'm gonna go downhill. And tomorrow the plan is to do some short intervals on the bike and then a run off the bike, which I could actually do potentially, just both very short ones. The bike, I think, can be up to 2 hours, but I can be even 1 hour. And the run can be 30 minutes, can be 45 minutes. This is something that I very much enjoy about Purple Patch Fitness, is that I have this freedom. I know what is the goal, and depending on my time availability or my feelings, I can adjust stuff. And basically the key was for me to know what is the key. Like, I had my key ride on Wednesday, I think, which is, that's all I need to know. Like, I did my key ride. Worst case, I can just skip tomorrow, or I can just do an easy jog, or I can replace my ride tomorrow with something else. Because the main focus of the week for the training, that is done. And like even today, it's like it's a supporting thing. I could do anything from like 1.5 rides today to like 3 hours, and it would do the job. And I'm out of gears on the uphill because I'm trying to not push too hard. But I'm catching the guy, so that's okay. I mean, he's clearly not racing. But yeah, I keep racing people who don't know I'm racing them. That's the spirit. I mean, I cannot not push after these words. Oh, okay. No. I mean, I took the wrong turn, but that's the same turn, basically. This is my favorite spot, like some switchbacks on the climb. Almost there. And that's almost up. Now it already looks like I'm not going to climb anymore. There's for sure one more section, like a small one, but things get easier from now. Time to go down. Now on the left side, there's two hills, like two very small ones at the bottom in the distance, and this is Alicante. Basically, I need to get almost to the left of the left hill. I just glued my tire, so I don't want to go crazy on the descent. I'm going to be more careful for today. I guess there is some shortcut to the left. Okay, so the right. wind is so annoying. It's good that they're not like gusts of wind, but on my 50 millimeter wheels, I can feel like I'm being pressed to the left side of the road. Have to go straight, but it's not that straight. So annoying. I just don't feel comfortable going that fast. I mean, for some reason I'm worried about the tire. Like, it seems to hold pretty good, but I really don't want to push it. Maybe next time I'm doing it, but not today. I'm going downhill, but I'm pedaling into the headwind. It's crazy. I will probably not slow down if I stop pedaling, but like, it's a strong wind slowing me down. into the town. At least there's no such cold wind as on the downhill. And I'm gonna wrap up the video here because it's like now it's my basically day-to-day road to get home. Maybe another 20 minutes and I'm home, maybe like 15. So yeah, let me know if that format is great. I mean, I think it could be enjoyable. I'm not sure about the camera angle because I don't really see what I'm filming, but it's much easier to talk and it's much easier to show something amazing, especially like I want to do it on the full downhills that are maybe a little bit even longer and more straightforward. So yeah, see ya.